Buddy, I think we're live. Let me know if let me know if you can hear me and see me and yeah, welcome. Welcome to this live webinar, The Gift of Disappointment. There's been no disappointment so far, but we're only a few seconds in. So yeah, feel free to go in the chat box, say hello, let me know where you're calling in from. And we'll get going in a minute or so. I just want to make sure that we're also broadcasting on Facebook. I think we are. Yes, we are. Because we've had yeah, we had nearly, I think, 7,000 people sign up for this, which is mind-blowing. I'm blown away and so grateful. Whenever I do these things, I never know I never know if anyone's going to be interested. Um so it's amazing that so many of you are interested and have taken the time to sign up. Obviously, we can't allow 7,000 people in this Zoom, so there's a limit, I think, of 1,000 people or so in this Zoom. But we're also broadcasting on Facebook right now, which is working, so that's great. So welcome. We're going to get started very, very soon. Let me just have a look at the chat box. Hello, everybody. All my friends all over the world. Sweden, England, Netherlands, Germany, Italy. Wow. California, Arizona, Scotland, Moscow, Mexico. Oh my goodness. Amazing. Argentina, Norway, Sydney, Scotland, Portugal. Unbelievable. Welcome to my humble abode. Welcome to my little living room and my yellow sofa. Thank you all for joining me. We'll get going very soon. Israel's Merseyside, oh my, in India, friends from India, friends from Poland. You can all hear me okay, right? Friends from Serbia, Greece. Wow. Beautiful. Okay. Shall we get going? Let's get going. As usual, when I do these live sessions, I just turn off the chat box for the first portion of the call, just so I don't get too distracted with all your lovely messages coming in. Um, yeah, so welcome everyone to this live session on the gift of disappointment. I hope that this session isn't going to be too disappointing for you. But if it is, which is possible, it's always possible to be disappointed at my sessions. But that's wonderful. I really welcome that. I love it when people are disappointed, let down by these sessions. And I would just invite you, just as an exercise during this session, just to be with that. Because that's what this session is all about. It's about leaning into our disappointment. It's about slowing down, and that's what we're really going to be doing together for the next half an hour or however long this is. Slowing down and returning to the present moment, really bringing our attention into the present moment. And if what's arising in your experience, which it does sometimes, is disappointment, then the invitation here is to really slow down and feel it, to lean into it, to open to it, to become curious. I love this word curious, to become curious about the experience of disappointment. And this is something that we don't often do. Um, when something happens in our lives, and disappointment can come in so many forms. It can come in, the small, subtle disappointments of each day when little things don't quite go the way we had wanted them to. Our day doesn't quite go the way we had hoped it would go. It doesn't quite go the way we expected it would go. It doesn't go the way our ego wanted it to go. And disappointment can also come in much bigger forms. Those life crises that we sometimes go through. Sudden shocks and losses, the loss of a relationship, the loss of a job, the loss of an identity, a part of myself, something that I thought I was. I suddenly realize I'm not that. A falling away of a sense of self, an image, something that just comes along and shakes your life up, shakes you to your core. So we all go through disappointments, big and small, in our lives. And this session really is, as I said before, is an invitation to slow down and to really feel, to really come back to our bodies, to come back to the actual experience of disappointment, of loss, of failure, to slow down and validate those feelings and feel them and get curious about them. And this is what true meditation really is. True meditation, in the way I teach it, has meditation has nothing to do with escaping the present moment. In fact, it's the opposite. True meditation has nothing to do with um trying to enter into altered states or higher states or having some special elevated experience. True meditation is all about flushing your present experience with awareness, with attention. It's all about being here. It's all about slowing down and coming closer to your actual lived, your raw life experience, even if it's painful, even if it hurts, as disappointment often does. And what do we normally do? We do everything we can to try and not feel these things. We run away. We run into a future moment. We try and distract ourselves with food, with drink, with drugs, with sex, with spiritual practice. We run away from the pain of life. Um, so this session really is an invitation to to stop running, to slow down, to come closer. I was listening to a um an interview with Joseph Campbell recently, and he was talking about this story in, I think it was in the Arabian Nights, and it was a story about a farmer plowing his field, and he's going along plowing his field, and suddenly his plow breaks down. I guess it's a horse. Well, back then it was maybe a horse-drawn plow. His plow breaks down, and he realized there's something stuck in the wheel of his plow. And he kind of gets down on his knees and looks, and he finds that there's a piece of metal stuck in the plow, and he's about to give up. He's about to, as we all do. He's about to give up, and suddenly he realizes that the metal is actually it's a ring, and in this story he pulls on the ring, and what opens up underneath him is a giant chest of treasure, or it's the opening into an underground cavern, depending on the version of the story. It's an opening into an underground cavern full of treasure. So think about that. What do we often do when we encounter disappointment, when we found that our plow is no longer working? It's stuck. It's so easy in those moments to go into our minds and start blaming, oh, the guy who fixed the plow, he screwed up, or this, or you kick the plow, or you kick the horse, or you curse the heavens, you curse the universe. This is something has gone horribly wrong. Oh, I give up. I give up with plowing. I'm not cut out for this. This is a horrible failure. I give up. But the reason I love this story is because the farmer in the story, he doesn't give up. He keeps looking. He stays curious. He gets down on his hands and knees, and so in a sense, he comes closer to his disappointment, to his frustration. He stays with his experience, and as he stays with his experience, he realizes that the very thing that he believed was blocking his path, the very thing that he thought was getting in his way, was actually a doorway. It was a portal. It was an opening into a vast cave of treasure, which really symbolizes the um the divine in all of us. So um and this is really what true meditation is all about. You know, we're invited to slow down and actually get curious about what's arising in our experience, not to immediately run into our minds and assume that it's bad, that it's wrong, this is something I shouldn't be experiencing, you know, that I should just give up. You know, although all of those thoughts might run through our minds. But in meditation, we feel our feet on the ground and we take a deep breath and we invite our attention back into the present moment, into the now. And we open up to the possibility that contained within this present moment, even though maybe right now we can't feel it, even though maybe right now we can't experience it, we open up to the possibility that there is a vast uh, cavern of treasures hidden somewhere in our present experience, that maybe, just maybe, our present experience right now, however uncomfortable, however unexpected, however intense, however, you know, full of disappointment and frustration we feel right now. And our minds want to discount that and push it away and run away and give up and dissociate. In meditation, in true meditation, we open up to the possibility that there is a great cavern of treasure here, that the divine is still here, even though maybe in this moment I can't seem to taste it, I can't seem to feel it. You know, I always think about Jesus on the cross, you know, and whether you're a Christian, whether you believe this really happened or not, doesn't really matter. It's such a wonderful metaphor. It's a wonderful symbol for something that we all go through. You know, you think of Jesus on the cross. I mean, we talk about disappointment. We talk about the day not going the way that we had expected or wanted or hoped or been promised. You know, we talk about a crisis of faith, a crisis of living. We talk about, you know, our plans, our dreams, our hopes, the idea we had of how our future would go being smashed. You know, we thought life was going to go one way, and then we find ourselves up there on the cross, and like, how did I get here? How did this happen? This wasn't in the plan. In small ways and in big ways, you know, every day we find ourselves up on that cross, suffering, suffering, you know, and think about Jesus on the cross. Um, think about what he had lost. He had lost his livelihood, his friends, his family, his even his physicality. Everything had been taken away from him. The hope, the expectation, the plan, the dream had been smashed. And in his present moment, and I think we can all relate to this. And I think this is why this story resonates with so many people all over the world, even if we're not Christians, even if we don't even believe it actually happened. It's a story, it's a metaphor, it's a myth, it's a legend that speaks to all of us, I think. You know, or we when we find ourselves hurting in the present moment. We find ourselves in physical pain, in emotional pain, that pain of deep loss and disappointment. How did I get here? Things have not turned out the way I had imagined or hoped or planned. And in those moments of pain, there is such a temptation to try and escape, right? We try to escape our pain. We escape in a million different ways. We as I said before, we turn to the, and this is something Jesus couldn't do, obviously. We turn to the drink, drugs, food, shopping, sex, you know, the even as I mentioned before, spiritual practice, anything. I'll do anything to get out of this experience. And there's that moment in the legend where Jesus, he cries out. He's reached his capacity. He's reached his capacity to to be with that experience, and he cries out to God, to the heavens, to the universe, to the cosmos, Father, why have you abandoned me? In other words, God, where are you? In other words, presence, life, consciousness, being, joy, where are you? The divine, where are you? I've lost the divine. But then, of course, there's that moment in the story where suddenly he remembers again, having forgotten. And we all forget sometimes. We all forget sometimes the present moment. We all forget sometimes the presence of the divine, especially when we're hurting. We all forget sometimes in the present moment the rightness of life, the sense that I am in this moment where I am supposed to be. We all, of course, we all forget sometimes. And, as I say over and over again, I think forgetting is part of this too. We have to allow ourselves to forget as well, to allow ourselves to have those moments of forgetting. That's also that's also divine. We're human, we're fallible, we're imperfect. We forget. But then in any moment, we can remember again. The present moment always contains that possibility, that treasure chest, that cave of treasures is it's never actually leaves. It's always here. But of course we can forget. And then Jesus in the legend, he remembers. He remembers that the divine is still present, that I have not been abandoned, even though I'm hurting right now, even though in this present moment there's pain, there's emotional pain, there's physical pain. The divine is still present. So I thought maybe we could go into a short meditation together. Um yeah, let's do that. And then I'll open up for questions. So just a short meditation. There's no special position you have to be in. You don't It doesn't matter if you've meditated for your entire life or you've never meditated before. It doesn't matter if you're an expert meditator or a beginner meditator. It really doesn't matter. Meditation is so open to everyone. And in a deeper sense, we are all beginners. We are all absolute beginners when it comes to meditation. My cat has just talk about disappointment. That was my cat is doing strange things behind the camera. So I think this is a wonderful test from the universe to stay present and stay focused and st keep compassion for the cat and give her her freedom and stay present with this meditation. So this is good. Um, so as I was saying, we are all beginners actually when it comes to meditation because nobody has ever experienced the present moment before. No one's an expert on the present moment. When you're stepping into the present moment, you're stepping into the unknown. So by definition, you're a beginner. In Zen, they talk about the beginner's mind, Zen mind, beginner's mind. So let's dive in together. There's no special position you have to be in. Just get really comfortable. And when you feel ready, just allow your eyes to close. And we're opening up to the possibility together that great treasure cavern is still here, that the divine is still present in this moment, even if we feel we've lost touch with it. Just inviting your attention now into the present moment. What's it like here where you are? Just letting all the busyness, the noise, the drama of the day fall into the background and inviting this present moment into the foreground, letting this present moment where you are right now become the most fascinating place in the entire universe. We're dropping out of the mode of thinking about our lives, and we're opening up the space of contemplation, contemplation, being in the temple, contemplation, the temple of the present moment, making this present moment into a temple, this ordinary moment. So what's it like where you are? Just feeling your feet on the ground, noticing those sensations of contact where your body meets the chair or the ground or wherever you are. Just noticing the positions of your hands, dropping your shoulders a little bit, dropping your jaw, opening your jaw a little bit. Just opening to this present moment exactly as it is. We're not trying to get anywhere. We're not trying to have a special experience. Notice if there's a part of you that's seeking a special experience, trying to have some other experience. In this meditation, we're giving ourselves permission, this sacred permission to have the experience we're actually having right now. Giving yourself permission to have this experience. Just feeling the weight of your body, letting your body be heavy, letting your arms be heavy, letting your legs be heavy. Letting your body sink a little bit into the chair, into the earth. Now just turning your attention to your breathing. What's your breathing like right now? Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it deep? Is it shallow? Can you just let your breath be like this? Not trying to control the breath, not trying to change the breath, not trying to breathe in a special way. Just letting the body breathe like this. Just being present for a few moments with those rising and falling sensations. Just letting the present moment be as it is, not adding anything to it, not taking anything away, not trying to get anywhere. Just opening to the present moment as it is, this ordinary moment. Breath rising and falling, sounds coming and going in your awareness, thoughts coming and going in your mind. Just this moment as it is. Just noticing what's happening in your body right now. Does your body feel relaxed? Does it feel tight? Does it feel tense? Is there a sense of peacefulness? Is there a sense of restlessness? What's here right now? Is there a boredom, an anxiety, an excitement? What's present? Well, maybe right now there's just a sense of numbness, lack of feeling, an anger, grief. So the simple invitation is whatever is here in your experience, can we just let it be? Can we open to our experience? Can we allow our boredom to be here? Can we allow our grief? Can we allow our disappointment, sense of loss? And if we can't, if we feel that right now we just can't allow, we just don't feel able to open to our experience. If right now we just feel a non-acceptance, then can that be okay? Then can we even open to our non-acceptance? Can we allow our resistance? Can we allow our non-allowing? Because remember, even our resistance is okay, is an expression of life. Whatever you're experiencing right now is just an expression of life, sometimes intense, sometimes mellow, sometimes pleasant, sometimes unpleasant. But from the deepest joy to the deepest grief, whatever is arising in you right now is an expression of the divine, is a wave, a valid, natural wave in the ocean of presence that you are. So, as the ocean of presence, your job isn't to try and get rid of this boredom or this grief or this frustration or this feeling of disappointment. As the ocean, you don't have to get rid of it. And maybe there's a part of you right now that wants to run away from the present moment. Let's not even make that part of us a mistake. Let's not even shame that part of us. Let's even bring that part of us into the light of love. Maybe there's a part of you right now that feels restless. It wants to run. Let's get really honest about our experience. This is what meditation is all about, radical honesty, illuminating everything within us. So maybe there's a part of you that wants to run away, that wants to be in a different moment, part of you that wants to escape, that doesn't want to be having this experience right now, that wants to be in a different moment, in a different place, wants to be somewhere else, wants to escape back into the past, wants to escape into the future. Can we just bring some awareness to that part of us, that seeker in us, that hot, burning, restless part of us that always seems to be dissatisfied? It wants to be somewhere else, wants to be having some other experience, any experience but this one. This is really the voice of suffering. So I want to run away. I want to escape this moment and be in some better moment, some safer moment, some other moment, some more enlightened moment. But what if that cavern of treasure is actually here in this moment, and by running away from this moment, we miss it? What if the divine is right here at the center of the cross, which is the present moment? So can we open to our experience right now, however intense or painful, however unexpected, however much this moment doesn't match the image of how you wanted this moment to be, however much this moment doesn't match the image, the picture, the mind-made concept of how you had wanted this day to be, or how you had wanted this week to be, or how you had wanted this moment to be. So in meditation, we're invited to open to that disappointment, to turn away from the idea, the image, the second-hand image of how we had hoped or planned or dreamt this moment would be. To let that go, to let that image float away, and to turn back towards this moment as it actually is, to come closer to this moment, to not abandon this moment, to not abandon ourselves when we need ourselves the most right now, to use our disappointment as a doorway to open to it, to soften into it, to allow those images of how we had hoped life would go, to allow them to fall away and to come back here to reality, to our feet on the ground, to our bum on the chair, to the sounds of this unique, never before experienced moment, to the sensations dancing in our bodies, opening to this moment exactly as it is, even though it doesn't match perhaps the dream, the ideal, the expectation, or how the ego said life should be. We're invited to soften into the truth of the present. So just opening to your experience as much as you can, allowing, and even allowing that part of you that doesn't want to allow, that part of you that wants to run away, even that part of you is welcome here. All of you is welcome here. And you can just let go of this meditation, let go of trying to meditate, trying to be present, trying to understand, trying to allow, and just let yourself rest for a few moments on the chair, on the ground. Give yourself a few moments of rest from the seeking, from the trying, from the running. And just let yourself be held by the chair, by the sofa, by the bed, or wherever you are. Just feel how the chair holds you, the bed, the ground, the earth. You're held exactly as you are. Broken, whole, full of joy or full of grief, full of answers or full of doubt. full of excitement or full of boredom, full of hope or full of despair, full of life. Just honoring all of this life that is moving in you, the despair, the grief, the boredom, the confusion, as much as the joy and the gladness and the excitement and the hope. All of these waves of life moving through you. And you are the ocean of presence in which all of these waves can move, thoughts coming and going, sensations coming and going, feelings coming and going, sounds coming and going. And if during this meditation you've found within yourself a place that feels peaceful, that feels safe, that feels still, or if you've touched into that cavern of treasures within you, see if you can stay connected to that place within you. See if you can stay connected to that part of your body as you slowly begin to open your eyes and come back into the room and have a little stretch if you'd like to. Oh, thank you so much, everyone, for diving into that ocean of meditation with me. The disappointment can really be used as a as a portal, as an opening. We don't have to skip over it. We don't have to reject it or try and drink it away or try and spiritualize it away. We can really slow down and open to that painful place, that part of us that says, God, but I wanted it to go my way. I wanted it to go my way. I had a plan of how life was supposed to go. I had a plan of how this moment was supposed to go. I had a plan of how I was going to plow that field. And then this thing got in the way. But this is the point when we never really know. We never really know. There's a lovely Zen story. Uh, Maybe you've heard this about a Zen I think it was a Zen farmer. It's another story about a farmer, and he he owned a horse, and one day his horse vanished. His horse went missing, and his neighbor was talking to him, and his neighbor said, "Oh, that's really bad luck. That's terrible. Your horse has gone missing. That's really bad luck." And the Zen farmer, who was really a Zen master, the Zen farmer said, "Well, maybe. I don't know." And then a few days later, the horse comes back, and the horse has brought a second horse. So now, so now the farmer doesn't just have one horse; he has two horses. And the farmer is speaking to his neighbor, and the neighbor goes, "Wow, this is wonderful news. This is really fortunate. This is really good luck." And the farmer goes, "Well, maybe. I don't know. We'll see." And then a few weeks later, oh, actually, this is I've forgotten I've forgotten the story. This is actually I printed it out. Yes, so um yes, disappointment. Wonderful. Let's lean into the disappointment of Jeff forgetting the Zen story. So A few weeks later, the farmer's son is riding one of the horses into town, and the son falls off the horse and breaks his leg. And again, the neighbor is talking to the farmer, and the neighbor said, "Oh, that's really bad. That's really bad luck. It's really bad fortune. It's terrible." And the Zen farmer says, maybe, maybe. I don't know. We'll see." And then a few weeks later, war comes to the country, and all able-bodied young men are called to war. But because the farmer's son has broken his leg, he's not allowed to go and fight. And the neighbor once again says, "Oh, well, that's good. It's really good. It's good fortune. That's wonderful." And the Zen farmer once replies, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. So this is, and we could go on and on and on with that story. And this is it's just a wonderful story that points once again to this place of not knowing. We never really know, do we? We never really know. And I'm sure many of you can relate to this. The thing that sometimes the thing, the worst thing, the thing that we think is the worst thing that happens to us in hindsight turns out to be the best thing, perhaps because it woke us up. Sometimes something like a divorce or sickness or a loss, a thing that at the time seems like the worst thing, terrible fortune, the worst thing. Actually, we don't know. We'll see. Maybe. Because the point is about the Zen story. If we can stay close to our experience, if we can slow down, if we can drop into this space of meditation, this space of curiosity, if we can open to our disappointment, open to all of these feelings, then maybe, just maybe, the thing that turned out to be bad fortune, in hindsight, we actually realize, no, that it had to happen that way. This it's good fortune. The ring that's stuck in the plow, that from one perspective looks like this is terrible, this is the end, this is something gone horribly wrong, is actually an opening into a new world, into a new life. What time is it? Let me open. Oh my goodness, I've been rambling for a long time. Let me open up the chat box and just see what you're saying. Um, oh, by the way, I was supposed to mention, some of you have been asking my membership site, Jeff Foster Live, where we basically do this. We meet live on Zoom 3 times a month, and we do meditations, and we have questions and answers, and I tell stories, and we read poetry about life, about suffering, about healing, about spiritual awakening, about trauma. Yeah, forgot what I was saying, but basically we're open again. We've opened our doors again for registration. If you're interested, you can go to jefffosteronline.com, jefffosteronline.com, and you can read about the membership, and you can sign up if you want to. It would be lovely to see you there. Okay, let me have a look at oh yeah, thanks. So yeah, my support team just put the link in the chat. Um, let's have a look at the chat here. Yeah, so Bethany says, can you speak to the shame and the blame of spirituality when it comes to illness? Belief systems like you create your own reality and you can heal yourself can create so much pain and suffering. Bethany says that you live with stage four cancer, and cancer has been a more powerful spiritual teacher than any workshop or retreat I've ever experienced. It's led to so many gifts of self-growth, awareness, love, gratitude, presence. Yet I find myself continuing to be disappointed by the shaming and blaming from our culture. Well, thank you for sharing, Bethany. Bless you. Um, yeah, this is kind of what I was just talking about, wasn't it? It's like we never know, do we? Um, I think that's where we really live, in that all of us really, we live in that space of not knowing. Me, you, everyone on the planet. We if we're really honest, deep down, when we go deep enough into ourselves, what do we find? We find mystery. We find mystery. And for me, that's in the end, that's what this is really all about, isn't it? It's recontacting the mystery of things, coming back to that childlike sense of wonder. You know, I think Jesus said, I'm quoting Jesus a lot today for some reason, but he said something like, until you become like a little child, you will not be able to enter the kingdom of heaven or something like that. But I think what he was pointing to was basically meditation. That's really what I'm pointing to when I talk about meditation. What is meditation really? Meditation means slowing down, throwing away all of our dogma, all of our assumptions, everything that we've been taught, including Bethany, including all of the spiritual assumptions, all of the spiritual crap. I might say a lot of it. You know, all of these secondhand beliefs that we're fed, like that if you're sick, it means that you manifested it, or basically that you did something wrong. That maybe you didn't pray hard enough, or you didn't manifest hard enough, or that you had too much ego, or that it's a punishment from some God or something like that, or that it's karma, or all of these ideas. In true meditation, we throw them all away. We throw away the secondhand conditioning, including the spiritual conditioning, because deep down we don't know. And that's the truth. And I think if some of these spiritual teachers were a bit more honest, they might admit that they really don't know, that you manifest your own sickness, or that it's a punishment, or that it's karma, or that all of these ideas. The truth is that we really don't know. Beginner's mind, beginner's mind. Um, and so in true meditation, yeah, I think it takes a lot of humility. Every day we are beginning again. We're coming back to our own experience. We're learning to slow down and touch our own deepest experience, and we're learning to trust our own deepest experience. We're learning to trust our own deepest experience. So yeah, I mean, I could talk for many, many hours about all the some of these spiritual ideas, some of these new age ideas. That I think you're right. They can create a lot of guilt and shame, some of these ideas. If something happens to me in my life, if a relationship ends, or if I get sick, if I get diagnosed with something, or if I lose money, or if there's some crisis or some loss or something seemingly seemingly negative happens to me, it must be because I did something wrong. As I said, because I didn't pray hard enough, or I didn't spend enough time with my guru, or I wasn't a good enough spiritual student, I didn't or I had too much ego, or blah 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 blah. I think we've come to a point where we just don't need these beliefs anymore. We don't need these secondhand beliefs, this dogma. Um, we just don't need it. We can slow down and come back to our own experience. Um, I mean, that's really what my work's been all about for the past 15 years or so. I'm not interested in telling anyone what to believe. There's enough people on the planet right now trying to tell us what to believe. You don't need a spiritual teacher telling you what's true for you. How can anyone know what's true for you, telling you what to believe? I've always tried to invite people back to their present experience, not to believe something that I say. It's not like I have the answers. I used to have a lot of answers. I just kicked oops, I keep on kicking the camera by mistake. I used to have a lot of answers. I used to have all the answers, but all the answers in the world didn't make me happy. And actually, I began to found my true happiness when I threw out all of the secondhand answers, everything that I thought I knew, including everything I knew about spirituality, everything I knew about non-duality, everything I knew about consciousness. I threw it all out, and I became, and I still am becoming like a child, dropping into that sense of curiosity and wonder and not knowing. And in that space of not knowing, when we don't know, when we don't know, when we're a beginner, when we're curious, then we can really look. If we already think we know, if we already have the answer, we stop looking. No, you cannot meditate if you have the answers. Nobody with the answers can meditate. If you're certain, you can't meditate. Why? Because meditation is, by definition, a plunge into the unknown. The present moment is the unknown. Nobody has experienced this present moment before. This moment that we're experiencing right now is brand new. We're stepping into the newness of life. You've never experienced this moment before. These sounds, these sensations in the body. This is the point of creation, really, where this is where we all are, is the point of creation. It's the Big Bang every moment. Anyway, I'm rambling, but I'm rambling, but the point is, yeah, I agree. I think a lot of these new age ideas, these spiritual ideas, can bring a lot of shame, you know, that we create our own illness, or that we um that it's karma, or that somehow we're being punished, or that it's all of these ideas basically that I did something wrong. That's why I've lost this money. That's why this relationship has fallen apart. That's why I'm in pain right now, because I did something wrong. And this is why I love meditation as well, because meditation can begin to strip away all of this secondhand nonsense. In meditation, we're invited just to sit with our pain, to sit with our disappointment, to sit with our grief, to strip away everything unnecessary. The thought, I'm experiencing this pain because I'm a bad person, or because I'm not spiritual enough, or because it's karma, or because I manifested it, or because it's a punishment, or because I'm a sinner. In meditation, we can become aware of all of this junk in the mind. Oh, look, there's all that junk. Hello, junk. We can become aware of all these stories and narratives. The mind really trying to protect us, the mind saying, run away, run away, run away. And we can say, thank you, mind, but actually, I no longer want to abandon my experience. Thank you, mind. Thank you, fixes and solutions, but I'm going to turn back towards my present experience. And this takes so much courage. This is the very definition of courage, I think, that willingness to take that step into the unknown. To step out of the world of the known, the world of the second hand, and to take that step into your experience, into your own experience, into your first-hand experience, into the unknown, into the mystery. That is true courage. Okay. Wow, so many so many comments. We're gonna have to do another one of these live sessions soon. I'm not gonna be able to get to all of these comments, but thank you. Stepping into the unknown is true courage, Barbara. Yeah. Tina says, drop into your body and out of your mind. Yeah, Tina, I think that's what meditation really is. It's dropping into the body, which is the mystery, dropping into the mystery of the body, dropping into the great unknown of the body. The mind is the known. The mind is the world of duality, the world of concepts, beliefs, thoughts. beautiful. We're not against the mind. The mind is not the enemy, but we don't want to live there, and we don't want to be a slave to the mind. So I think it takes a lot of courage to yeah to drop out of the mind and into the body, into the feet, into the belly, into the chest, into the throat, to flush the body with attention, with awareness, which is love, to bless the body with attention, which is the greatest blessing. That's really what we're doing in meditation is where we're infusing our experience, we're infusing our firsthand experience, we're infusing the body with with awareness, we're illuminating what's present instead of, and that's the opposite of running away from it, unconsciously running away, abandoning. That's self-abandonment. Meditation is the opposite of self-abandonment. And in a world, in a society, especially in the West, where we're almost encouraged to run away from ourselves. We're encouraged to become distracted. You just walk out on the street. You walk into the here in London, like into the underground, and there's like a thousand adverts, 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 adverts. You need this, you need this, you need this. Become this, become this, become that. You can't be happy without this, without this, without that. Here, you don't have to be present with yourself. You can, go and do this and do that and do that. And again, there's nothing wrong with any of this stuff, I think. The doing, doing, doing. But the question is, are we doing this stuff to run away from stuff within us that actually needs our attention? Um, Elizabeth asks, isn't the path to heal these parts of ourselves, to allow the suffering, the pain to break us open in order to heal? Yeah, and I think we are paradoxically we are talking about healing here. But this is the healing of the heart, not the healing of the mind. I think the mind has a different version of healing. I think the mind's version of healing is um so I'm in pain right now, or right now I'm experiencing, let's say, profound disappointment. Let's say something happened today or last week, something didn't go according to plan. I lost something, a job, a relationship, a path that I thought I was traveling. I can't travel that path anymore. And there's so what arises within me if I get curious about my experience is a profound sense of disappointment. And I what happens in my body? Maybe it's like a tightness in the belly, in the chest, in the throat. Maybe my mind is spinning with ideas of how things should have been and how things could have been, blaming. I'm going to kick that plow, that bloody plow. Who or the guy who fixed the plow, he didn't blah 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 blah. Um, but so what the mind wants to do, I think, is get rid of the mind's question is how can I get rid of this experience? How can I get rid of this pain, this discomfort? How can I get rid of this moment? If I can get out of this moment, then I will heal. So I think the mind sees healing as a future thing. The mind sees healing as a future moment, a future attainment. How can I get from where I am right now, which is hurt, which is pain, which is anger? How can I get from this experience, which is uncomfortable, to some future experience of love, perfection, bliss, healing, basically, some concept, some image of healing? How do I get from here to there? That's the mind's question. How do I get from here to there? So the heart's question is very different because the heart is all about being here. So the heart's question is more like not how can I escape this experience, but how can I be more present with this experience? How can I open to this experience, open to these tender parts of me right now, open to this part of me right now that needs my attention, that needs my love, that needs my curiosity, open to my pain, open to my anger, open to my grief, open to this sense of loss. How can I open to this experience? How can I experience this experience more fully? Now, the mind says, but then how could that possibly lead to healing? Because the mind is a dualistic mind, here and there, good and bad, up and down, unhealed, healed. How do I get from broken to healed? How do I get from broken to fixed? How do I get from dark to light? But if just for a moment we put all of that to one side, that whole dualistic narrative, the journey from dark to light, if we can just put that to one side for a second and instead open to our present moment, to our present experience, illuminate this present experience, enlighten, bring the light here. Don't wait for the light one day, but actually remember that the light that is here, remember that you are the light. And as the light of life itself, you can illuminate, you can open to, you can illuminate your pain, your sorrow, your anger. Breathe into your experience, however painful, however uncomfortable, breathe into the moment. Infuse it with breath, infuse it with light, infuse it with awareness. Drench the moment with love. If I were to say it poetically, drench the moment with awareness. And again, the mind says, but that's not, no, but you're not going to get anywhere. It's like the opposite of getting somewhere, isn't it? The mind is all about getting somewhere. The mind is all about destinations, goals, 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 goals. But in true meditation, we're invited to let go of goals, however paradoxical that and crazy that can sound. Let go of the goal. Let go of healing as a goal. And what do we mean by healing anyway? The word heal has its roots in the word whole, heal, whole. So healing is really wholeness. So is wholeness something that we're going to find one day, or as I'm suggesting, and as many other people have suggested throughout the ages, is wholeness, is the divine, is the mystery of all creation actually already here in our experience. It's just that it's like the last place sometimes that we would ever think to look, right? It's the last place that we would ever think to look. Just like the guy, the farmer with his plow, the last place you would ever think to look for that cavern full of treasures is right there in your own field, especially when your plow seems to have broken down. But we just never know. Just like in that in the Zen story about the farmer who lost his horses and found his horses and his son broke his leg and it's like good fortune, good, bad. We never really know. So all we can do really is slow down and open to life and see if we can experience each moment fully. Because the truth is we never know where it's going to lead us. I mean, as many of you know, a few years ago, I was really, really sick, and I didn't know. I didn't know if I was ever going to get better. I didn't know if was ever going to get 5% better. I didn't know if I was ever going to teach again. I didn't know if I was ever going to have enough energy to walk, to run, to move around the world again. I didn't know. I didn't know. And the truth is we never really know, do we? Um, it's just that sometimes in life, sometimes life gives us these experiences, from the subtle disappointments to the big, painful life crises. We find ourselves up there on the cross. It's not just a little disappointment, it's a major life-shaking crisis, and but the word crisis, if you look at the origin of the word crisis, it's related to the word for birth. So a crisis doesn't necessarily mean the worst thing that has ever happened. That's sometimes how it feels, right? A loss, the end of a relationship, a diagnosis. It can. Sometimes when you're in it, it can feel like this is the end. This is a death. This is the end. Well, maybe it is a kind of death, actually. Maybe it is a kind of end. Maybe it's the death of who you thought you were. Maybe it's the death of the life you thought you were going to lead. Maybe it's the death of an old identity. Maybe it's the death of an old sense of self that didn't really fit anyway. Maybe just maybe if we can slow down and stay with that death, maybe it's a necessary death. It can that can be a portal into the new, into new life, into new life. Maybe, we lose our horse and we don't know. We don't know that tomorrow that horse is returning with a second horse. We don't know. We don't know. I'll just keep on saying that. We don't know. I didn't know how, I had no idea of how long this session was going to be. And I had no idea of how many amazing comments and questions I was going to get. Yeah, out beyond the beautiful Rumi Rumi poem, out beyond ideas. It's very appropriate. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. And I think this is what we're pointing to in this session. This the field that is within us, actually. The field out beyond ideas of right doing and wrong doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. So that's Rumi really pointing to love. Um, I'm gonna have to end this. Sadly, I'm gonna have to end this webinar. By my wounds I am healed, says James. Beautiful. Yeah. Um, Maria says healing is a movement towards wholeness. It's a journey, not a destination. Yeah, I think that's what I was saying, really. The mind can so easily sometimes make healing into a destination. When will I get there? And why am I not there? And of course, sometimes we can feel so far from the destination. We can feel so far from healing. But what I'm suggesting is, and I think this is what meditation is all about, in any moment in our day, we can drop out of that narrative and return to the present moment, return to the day, return to our feet, return to our bodies, return to the place where we are. And we can open to the possibility that healing, wholeness is actually right here. There is wholeness in our grief. The last place we would ever think to look for it. There is a wholeness in our discomfort. There is a wholeness in our pain. There is wholeness in our disappointment. And again, this is not something I don't want you to believe this. I don't want this to become a concept. This is something to discover for yourself. I wanted to read this beautiful, I love this poem, and I don't think I've read it before online. This is by William Butler Yeats. Um, and it really speaks to, I think, what we've been talking about, this sense of never really knowing. We sometimes the worst thing can turn out to be the best thing can turn out to be the worst thing, and in the end, we just have to, as much as we can, drop into the unknown and trust and open to our experience and surrender to life, to the universe, to God. And it's not always easy, and sometimes we forget, and sometimes we cry out to God like Jesus on the cross. We forget and then we remember again and we forget again and we remember, just like breathing in and out, forgetting, remembering. And so this is a lovely story, poem about old Father Gilligan. I think he's Irish, an old Irish priest. And he's so tired. He's old. He's tired. He's been doing this job for so many years. He has so many people to take care of. So all the people in his village, they're sick, they're dying, they need help. He feels exhausted with so many people to take care of, and he just feels that he's reached his capacity, and he can't take care of everyone. But bless him, he wants to. And I think maybe we can all relate to this. And so this is a poem about yeah, kind of what we were talking about, how sometimes the disappointment, the worst thing, can turn out to be a beautiful thing. And so this, yeah, I should point out the word mavrone. At one point they call out mavrone. It's just an old Irish expression, kind of meaning, oh dear, oh no. It's like an expression of grief. So sit back and relax and open to this poem. It's beautiful. The old priest, Peter Gilligan, was weary night and day, for half his flock were in their beds, or under green sods lay. Once, while he nodded on a chair at the moth hour of eve, another poor man sent for him, and he began to grieve. Oh, I have no rest, nor joy, nor peace, for people die and die. And after, cried he, oh God, forgive, my body spoke, not I. He's so exhausted, you see. He knelt, and leaning on the chair, he prayed and fell asleep. And the moth hour went from the fields, and stars began to peep. And they slowly into millions grew, and leaves shook in the wind. And God covered the world with shade, and whispered to mankind. Upon the time of sparrow chirp, when the moths came once more, the old priest Peter Gilligan stood upright on the floor. Oh, Mavrone, Mavrone, the man has died while I slept on the chair. He roused his horse out of its sleep and rode with little care. He rode now as he never rode by rocky lane and fen, and the sick man's wife opened the door. Oh, father, you come again. And is the poor man dead? He cried. He died an hour ago. The old priest Peter Gilligan in grief swayed to and fro. When you were gone, he turned and died, as merry as a bird. The old priest Peter Gilligan, he knelt him at that word. He who hath made the night of stars for souls who tire and bleed, sent one of his great angels down to help me in my need. He who is wrapped in purple robes with planets in his care had pity on the least of things, asleep upon a chair. Isn't that lovely? I love that poem. Old Peter Gilligan, he so badly wanted to be there for everyone in need. He wanted to be there when his friend died, but he was so exhausted, bless him. He fell asleep. He couldn't be there for everyone. And but in the end, he realized that, God, if you don't like the word God, the universe, life, the cosmos, consciousness, the mystery of all things, he took care of it, she, he, they, there's beyond all pronouns, take somehow in a mysterious way takes care of all of us. Um, well, that'll be a nice place to finish, I think. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here. Sorry, I didn't get to look at all your questions and comments. I will read them after this session. Yeah, if you enjoyed this session, please take a look at jefffosteronline.com. We do these live sessions 3 times a month, and they're really lovely. And there's some lovely people from all over the world, and we meditate together and explore consciousness together and healing and trauma. And we read poems, and I tell some bad jokes. So yeah, would lo be lovely to see you there. Yeah, thank you for all your support. Thank you so many of you for signing up for this session. I hope it was helpful in some way. Um, yeah, let me just scroll and wow, so many comments. Oh, thank you for all your lovely comments. Thank you. I'm just looking at all your thank yous. Gratitude. Oh, thank you. Beautiful. Thank you, Camilla. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Landon. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, all of you. Lots of love to all of you. Thank you so much for being with me. It was lovely to be with you and share this teaching. um, of presence, of simplicity. This teaching of bum on the chair. I think that's what I'm gonna call it from now on. It's the bum on chair teaching. It's so simple. It's so simple, but it's so easy to forget. It's so easy to become disconnected from the present moment. It's so easy to forget that treasure chest. It's so easy to lose touch with the mystery. But sometimes I think even that is part of the mystery that we can forget the mystery, that we can lose touch with the mystery, that we can lose ourselves in resistance, lose ourselves in the mind, lose ourselves in past and future. But let's be kind to ourselves, let's forgive ourselves. Even Jesus on the cross forgot. Even God forgets. Think about that. Even God forgets. Even the forgetting is an expression of the divine. So um yeah, let's slow down a little bit and become curious about disappointment. Lean into it a little bit, taste it. This is just a little invitation from me to taste disappointment instead of vomiting it out, instead of running away, instead of rushing to escape it. And of course, sometimes that impulse is there, and that's okay as well. We don't have to become masochists. This isn't about being a masochist. But there is this possibility that right there at the heart of our disappointment, right there at the heart of our boredom, of our grief, right there at the heart of the seemingly unwanted experience, if we can stay with it and breathe into it and open to it, we may just touch into that treasure chest. We may just touch into that treasure chest of being. Bless you all, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.